What's up, everyone? How darn! Welcome back to our channel. I'm Mr. Hunt, where we're here to help make math easy. You betcha, you happy, fappy, chappy, shappy. Is that some sort of tree? Okay, then what?
I can't explain it.
Okay. What's on the docket for today, Mr. B?
Fraction problems.
That sounds like the name of a company.
There, it's when you take a couple of boards, right, and you put them together into with some problems. Then once they're together, then sometimes what you'll find is they also have some large lumbers, and yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Okay. Say it with me. Fraction.
Fraction.
Word. Problems. Okay, now put it all together. Fraction, word, problems.
Fraction problems.
We'll practice later. We're going to teach you 3 easy tricks so that solving multiplication and division word problems will be really easy. All right? So make sure you're using all 3 of these tips that I teach you. All right? Also, look for the challenge problem. There's going to be a challenge problem towards the end of the lesson. And what I want you to do is I want you to put your answer to the challenge problem in the comments section. And what we're going to do in a future video, you'll see when it is, we are going to have a competition. And anyone that has put in their answer to the challenge question in the comments section will be entered into a drawing to see who will win a custom Mr. B t-shirt. All right, so make sure you're answering that question, and we might include previous videos too, so it can't hurt. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. All right, so we're doing multiplication and division word problem with fractions. Yay! All right, so in order to do this, I have a couple of tricks that I want to go over with you. And this process is really going to be, once you find this process, it's going to be similar for any word problem. So you want to do this process no matter what. All right, so first off, with any word problems, you want to pay attention to the key words. The key words are words that are going to be in there. They're going to give you hints as to what operation you have to do, what it wants you to do. So some words you may hear is it may say about someone giving something to someone else. Maybe, some acorns to somebody. So giving means that you're having something and you're moving it to someone else. You're getting rid of them, right? You're subtracting them. Or it might be something like we have the remainder. That's going to be a really important one. You're going to notice in a lot of word problems, it's going to say the remainder. All right, and the remainder is basically saying that something happened first. So what happened first? And what's left over, which is what the remainder is. Okay, so they may say like 1/3 of the remainder. Say maybe there were 12 acorns, and that was left over after Mr. B gave 8 to me for whatever reason, right? So he had 20 to start, he gave 8 away, and then he had 12, and that was what was remaining. And then he took 1/3 of what's remaining and put it in the bank. How many did he put in the bank? It's not 1/3 because it's 1/3 of an amount, which is why we were doing the multiplication of fraction times a whole number. okay? Because you're taking a fraction of an amount of something, okay? You might also notice that they'll have some words being lost or used, right? This is getting rid of something. Or found, that's adding. So pay close attention to the keywords. And we'll go over some word problems so that you can notice what I'm talking about. The second tip is all about the process, all right? The process, the steps you need to do in order to solve any word problem type problem, all right? The process is pretty simple, and I have an abbreviation. It's RASP, all right? RASP, and it stands for read, all right, and reread. A is answer sentence, and that's with a unit. Unit is describing what that number is. 20 what? Apples, goats, toenail clippings, whatever it is, that unit matters. So make sure you have that. And that's basically just your answer with a blank spot for what the number's gonna be. And the next thing is solve. Try to figure it out. Try to figure out what the answer is. And then the last step, which surprisingly, the reason why I do it in this order, a lot of people forget this last step. Don't forget it. Put answer in the sentence. All right, don't forget it to put it in the sentence you wrote. What I see all the time as a teacher is I see people, they did all the work. They read it, they reread it to make sure they really understand it. They write their answer sentence with the unit. They solve it, but then they forget to put their answer in their answer sentence. And I see their work on a separate piece of scrap paper, but they never put it on the test with their answer sentence. So make sure you don't forget that step. It's RASP, R-A-S-P, read, reread, answer sentence with unit, solve, put answer in the sentence. Okay, that's very important. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow this process. I'm gonna keep RASP on this side of the screen at all times so that you can reference it, all right? And we'll go through some of these problems, and I want you to think, okay, is this multiplying? Is it dividing? Because in this case, the only problems we're doing is multiplying or dividing. All right, so pay attention to the keywords, and then we're going to go through this process. All right, so let's get rid of this and start on our first problem. All right, so our first problem is going to be right up here. All right, so our first problem is Mr. B has his prize collection of 52 sticks. He gives 3/4 to his friend, Mr. Hunt, who didn't want them, nor did he ask for them. Mr. Hunt then gives 2/7 of what he received from Mr. B to Mrs. B. How many sticks does Mrs. B receive? All right, so step one, we read it, but we need to reread it, okay? So let's reread it carefully, and we want to pay attention. What's important here, okay? Mr. B has his prize collection of 52 sticks. All right, 52 tells us how many he starts with. That's his total, okay? So we have 52 to start. Now let's keep going. He gives 3/4 to his friends. He gives 3/4 of what? Well, the 52 sticks. So he gives 3/4 of 52 sticks, all right, to Mr. Hunt, me. And then it says Mr. Hunt then gives 2/7 of what he received from Mr. B to Mrs. B. All right, so that's another thing that's important. What you'll notice is it says he then gives 2/7 of what he received. When we have an of right next to a fraction like this, that's a hint it's multiplication. All right, because 3/4 groups of 52. All right, so of means multiply. So right there, that's one of the hints. But it doesn't mean if you just see the word of anywhere in a word problem, it means multiply. It doesn't. What it means is if the of is next to a fraction or a whole number, right, it's telling you 3/4 of the sticks, or 52, or 3/4 of, whatever the problem is. All right, so this one we know is a multiplication of fractions problem. All right, and the of was a keyword that hinted at that. All right, so then the next step we have to do is our answer sentence with the unit, okay? So our answer sentence is gonna be, well, the question said, how many sticks does Mrs. B receive? Mrs. B receives blank sticks. I'm putting the blank there because that's the number we have to put in. Now, what's the unit in this? What is this? What is this thing? Well, whatever this number is here, it's talking about the number of sticks. So sticks are our unit. That's what this number is talking about. 52 what, or whatever the number is, okay? So now we have our answer sentence with the unit. Now we need to solve it. So when I read through it first, I wrote this down. You probably noticed, because that's the first thing I noticed. You want to pay close attention to the numbers in the problem and think, why are they important? Okay, because sometimes what they'll do is they'll put numbers in there that don't matter at all. So 52 is how many he started with at first. He gave 3/4 of his 52 to Mr. Hunt. So how many sticks is that? Well, we have to solve this. So 3/4 of means multiply, and then we have 52. Well, if you remember in my division of fractions video or multiplication of fractions video, to write a whole number as a fraction, all you do is write it over 1. All right, and then with multiplying fractions, we multiply across. Multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. Now these are pretty big numbers, so I'm going to do one thing first. I'm going to try to cross simplify these. All right, and I don't have to do both, but in this one, I'm going to do this because 52 is pretty big. So I know both of them end in an even number. That means 2 goes in. So I'm going to divide both of these by 2. All right, I'm going to rewrite my fractions right here before I solve it. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 52 divided by 2, bleh. All right, so 52 divided by 2, I'm going to do it out. 2 goes into 5 twice, and 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract that out, we get 1. Bring down our 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 times 6 is 12. And subtract it out, so we have 26. If you followed our division video, you know I was doing my checks automatically. 5 minus 4 is 1. We check to make sure it's smaller than 2. It is. And then we bring down, right? All those steps. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? All right, so 26 is 52 divided by 2. All right, so that's a little bit better. Not amazing, but better. All right, so now we have 3 over 2 times 26 over 1. Now I could still cross simplify these two, but at this point, I'm just gonna solve it. All right, so 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 26. Well, I could do it in my head, but I'm gonna write it down. 3 times 6 is 18, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we have 78 over 2. Now, normally, since this isn't our answer, if it were our answer, we would simplify it. But it's not our answer, so I'm just going to keep it as is. And then we're going to move to the next part, because this just tells me how many sticks Mr. Hunt got from Mr. B. But there's more. If we read through the problem, we know it says that Mr. Hunt then gives 2/7 of what he received. All right, and this is what he, or me, received. All right, 78 over 2. So let's erase this stuff. All right, we got to keep our answer sentence so that we have a little bit of room. Normally for you wouldn't erase it, but I only have a fixed amount of space. I don't have another whiteboard I could bring in here. So I'm going to erase this, and then we'll continue. All right, so remember 78 over 2. All right, let's get rid of this. All right, 78 over 2. And that's how many sticks Mr. Hunt got. All right, so then the next part it says he gives 2/7 of what he received. What I received was this, and I know it's not a whole number, but I'm going to save myself a little bit of steps here and just do it like this. All right, so now I know the word of means multiply. Okay, so I'm going to look at this and I'm going to write that again as 2 sevenths times 78 over 2, 8. And then I'm going to cross simplify. I see 2 and 2. Both of those can divide by 2. So we get, running out of space again, 1 over something. All right, so we have 7 and 78. Now, I don't know off the top of my head what numbers could work to simplify this, so I'm just going to keep them as is. And then we're going to multiply and see what we get. So 1 times 78 is 78. 7 times 1 is 7. All right, so now we have 78 over 7. Anytime you have an improper fraction, to change it to a mixed number, all we have to do is divide 78 by 7. So long division style, let's do 78 divided by 7. 7 goes into 7 once. That's 7. Subtract it out, we get 0, and bring down the 8. 7 goes in 8 once. 7 times 1 is 7. Subtract out, we get 1. I know you can't quite see that. So we have 1 as our remainder, right? And we have 11 wholes. So 1 is our remainder, even though you can't quite see it. All right, so our answer, 11 wholes. Our remainder is our numerator, and our divisor, or what was already our our denominator, is still our denominator. So our answer is 11 and 1/7. Now am I done? No, I'm not. I need to put this in my answer sentence. So 11 and 1/7. All right, now we're done. Okay, so that's the process for these. Okay, let's try another one and pay attention to the keywords and let's see if you can figure out what type of problem it is. All right, let's erase this. All right, next problem. Let's try this one. So, a bucket contains 5/12 quart of acorn dust. Mr. B pours all of the acorn dust equally into 5 bowls. How much acorn dust is there in each bowl? All right, so we read it, all right, for R for rasp, but we have to read it again. And this time, let's pay attention to the important parts. What are we starting with? What's happening to what we have? Okay, are we giving some away? Are we breaking up into groups? Are we getting more, right? So let's pay attention to it and think about that. A bucket contains 5/12 quarts of acorn dust, all right? So that's what we're starting with, 5/12 quarts. Mr. B pours all of the acorn dust equally into 5 bowls. How much acorn dust is in each bowl? All right, so right there I'm also noticing equally. That's a key term. And you might be like, why, Mr. M? Why is that a key term? Well, because it describes how we're breaking something up into groups. So when we have a total and we break it up into even groups, what operation is that? Well, it's division. All right, we're taking a total and breaking it into even groups. So we know it's a division problem. All right, so before we start getting into solving, we have to do the A. We have to do our answer sentence. All right, so our answer sentence is as follows. Since the question says how much acorn dust is there in each bowl, there is blank. And what's the unit for the dust, for the acorn dust? Well, it's quarts. So quarts of acorn dust in each bowl. All right, so there's our answer sentence, and our unit is quarts, okay? And that's very important. All right, so now I have my answer sentence. Now I'm gonna be moving on to solving, all right? And I wanna pay attention to what was the important parts in my question. Well, I have 5/12 quarts of acorn dust. So that's what I'm starting with, okay? So I have 5/12. I have that, all right? And then I put it equally into 5 bowls, all right? So because I'm distributing or moving into 5 bowls equally, that's division, and I'm dividing it into 5 groups, Okay, so if you watch my division of fractions video, remember the acronym. I know there's a lot of acronyms, but remember the acronym KCF. Not Kentucky Chicken Fried, keep, change, flip. All right, so let's redo this one. Now, before I even do that, I notice I have a whole number. All whole numbers written as a fraction are over 1. Okay, so I have 5/12 divided by 5 over 1. So with keep, change, flip, the first fraction stays the same. The operation becomes multiplication, and then we do the reciprocal, which is flipping the second fraction. So 5 goes to our denominator, 1 goes to our numerator. All right, so now I'm multiplying, and I can cross simplify like I did in the last problem, or I can just multiply and then simplify after. All right, I'm gonna simplify now because I notice whenever you have the same number, it's just gonna make them ones, and that makes it super easy. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So let's rewrite that. So our numerator of our first fraction is 1, but the denominator is still 12. We're still multiplying. Don't forget to write the correct operation. 1 is our numerator of our second fraction, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So now we have this really difficult problem of 1/12 times 1 over 1. And we're just going to multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. 1 times 1, 1. 12 times 1, 12. All right, so in 1/12, can we simplify it? No, we have 1 in the numerator. Whenever you see that, you know you're in simplest form. All right, so 1 over 12 is our answer. However, put it in your answer sentence. All right, your teachers are gonna love you for this answer sentence. I guarantee it, because it has your unit. You turn the question around into a statement. You have your answer there. Oh, they are gonna love you, and it's never a bad idea to get your teachers to love you. All right, to make sure that they love the answers you're putting down on your paper. They're gonna be so happy, all right, and they're gonna show you off as like, you know, a model student to all the other students. Be like, hey, you should definitely do what Brian does or whatever. Okay, so make sure you write your answer sentence and you put your answer in there at the end. All right, let's get rid of this one. All right, and we'll catch you later. Say it with me one more time. Word. Wapord. No P. Get rid of the P. Oh boy. All right, I don't think we're getting there. So make sure you're putting your answer to the challenge problem in the comments section, because later on there's going to be a drawing that we will announce at a video for a custom Mr. B t-shirt. All right, so make sure you do that.
And I want to know something too.
What? How to spell Mr.?
I know doesn't understand.
Never mind. What do you want to know?
If you've made it to this very end, I want you to write in the comment section what you named your son. Okay? Don't say anything else besides that. Just write the name. I want to confuse all them everybody else.
Frank.
Who is Frank?
My thumb.
Why are you telling me the name of your son?
Never mind. All right, everybody. That's it for today. So make sure you like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. We want to make sure we're reaching as many people as possible, and people like you are really, really helpful to doing that. All right. Make sure you put your answer to that question as well as the challenge question in the comment section. And that's pretty much it for today. So we'll catch you later next time.